Have you seen these awesome glasses TJ's daughter Lainey found? They're called Aquila, and they're 10% off when you use code TJ at checkout at aquila.la and the deals page at tjritchie.com.
News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT proudly presents America's coolest conservative. Well, proudly could be stretching it a bit. Welcome to the TJ Ritchie Show.
Live from the big dangerous city, here I am, Charlotte's Mr. Charmed and Dangerous. Late, live, and local, all of that stuff. Any slogan you want to throw, I'll take it. It will be fine. Okay, let's start this show with a confession. I am confessing to you because I bring you real talk. If something is askew, I tell you about it. Even when it comes to having to criticize the Republicans and the conservatives. Now, you wonder why I always say Republicans and conservatives, because not all Republicans are conservative. Only the good ones are. Okay. I am sick and tired of the Republicans claiming that the Democrats are only wanting these illegal aliens in the country so they can get them to vote because they need a permanent underclass to vote for them. I'm sick of it. It hasn't worked. Nobody believes you when you say that. Now they're taking after poor Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota. I mean, haven't they just been on this man enough? You beat him in the election. He's not the vice president to Kamala Harris. But now they're coming after him and saying just because back in March of 2023, he signed that bill into law called Driver's License for All, or whatever it was called, that allowed everybody of age who can pass a driver's test to have a driver's license, which would also be a state ID. Just because he passed that to give everyone a fair opportunity, that he was trying to use that as well as the Democrats to get illegal aliens to vote. I mean, come on. Now, I get it. I can, maybe understand a little bit where the Republicans are coming from with all of these wild accusations, because if you have a legal state-issued ID, such as a driver's license or state ID, you can vote in elections with it. Okay, but what does that mean? Does that mean that Democrats want them voting in elections? Hardly. The Democrats are, they are true in their belief and in the words that they speak, saying that they only have the undocumented immigrants' best interests at heart. They're not using them for anything. They're not trying to control them or manipulate them or get anything out of them. They are just trying to give them a better life by providing them with an official state identification that, okay, it does allow them to vote in elections, but that they're not doing it. And if one does slip through here and there in this district or that district, it's not like the Democrats told them to go vote or anything. All these Republicans need to just stop. You got a lot going for you right now. The American people are behind us. for the most part. And you're just getting greedy on these issues. This is a dead issue. Tim Walz is a fine man. Every Democrat having to defend the accusation that they just want all of these illegal aliens in the country so they can make a voting block out of them. People should be ashamed accusing them of such things. You should be ashamed. I think, as one Mr. Ice Cube has said in the past, you need to chickadee check yourself before you wreck yourself, is what you need to do, Republicans. You've been lying about this for years. You have even accused these poor Democrats of kicking black people to the side to make room for the illegal aliens because they take the black vote for granted and they feel like they've always got the black vote. So now they're trying to court the illegal alien vote. And so what? There was a hearing of some sort, and the person that's in charge of elections in Minnesota admitted that you could, get by and vote with this state ID and driver's license that Tim Walz signed into law in March of 2023. So what? What does that prove? Does it prove illegal aliens are voting when they shouldn't be voting? Absolutely not. Oh, gosh. Oh. Okay, so I just want to make sure everybody knows I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it 100, as the kids say. And I'll call out these Republicans like this whenever I see that they've done wrong, and they have. They should apologize to the Democrats for their wild, false accusations. Okay, let's take a break. We'll have more coming up next.
More of the TJ Ritchie Show is coming up.
Have you seen these awesome glasses TJ's daughter Lainey found? They're called Aquila, and they're 10% off when you use code TJ at checkout at aquila.la and the deals page at tjritchie.com.
Hear the TJ Ritchie Show every weeknight at 7 Eastern. Stream it live at tjritchie.com or listen later as a podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or My Media Center at tjritchie.com. You'll be so glad you did, hopefully. That's tjritchie.com.
He's radio royalty in the Carolinas and Queen Charlotte's sweetest prince. It's TJ Ritchie on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
The Green-Eyed Patriot is on the air everywhere. I'm so happy for you that you get to listen to the things that come out of my face hole every night. Good for you. All right, if you want to call and talk, it's 704-570-1110, and it's also that same number if you want to send a text message into the studio. I would love to hear from you. Unless you're a lunatic, I don't necessarily want to hear from you. If you disagree, okay, that's fine if you disagree with me. But if you're just a lunatic, go pound sand. Kick rocks. I don't care. All right. I saw something today, and I thought it was one of the funniest things that I have seen in a long time. And what made it so funny is it's one of those things that's not supposed to be funny. So the people who said it are going to be insulted by the fact that people laugh at it. Can y'all get cut 34 ready? This is a conversation that happened with those hens on The View on why they don't have more Republican guests on the show. You see, they get criticized all the time for not bringing on Republicans. So they had a perfectly good explanation for it. This is what it was. Listen.
That's the great thing about the View. You know, we want people to come and give their views. And everyone who comes here, we try to be respectful and we ask tough questions. We ask tough questions because we're otherwise speculating.
Right.
So we can ask. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, I was going to say that I think that we should have more Republicans on the show, but they don't want to come on. They're scared of us. It's like Marjorie Taylor Greene says that she finds the Republican men afraid of powerful women. Well, that may be true of all the political persuasions. But if they would come on this show, and they can explain to us what they're trying to do to this country.
And we've had some good ones, but like I always think it's helpful when we have like Ted Cruz. I think we should have. We've invited Mike Johnson. Thomas Massey's been super interesting.
Yeah.
Some more Republicans
Has anyone ever come on? No.
Well, Cruz has, but I'd like to have him back on.
Yeah, Ted Cruz has come on, and I think it would be wonderful.
On Trump.
Your boyfriend, Chris Christie,
right. My boyfriend, Chris Christie's invited here anytime.
And I do think it's important that Robert Kennedy Jr. comes on this show.
We're going to be right back.
Yeah.
In a second.
Okay, so I had no idea that these conservatives were afraid of the women on The View. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, you know what? I despise the way feminists act. Everybody knows that. I don't despise every feminist. I despise the way they all act. But you know what's worse than a regular feminist is a conservative feminist. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is supposed to be a conservative. And because the Republican Party and the conservatives in the party may be stepping back and going, hey, you need to calm down. You're crazy. You're a crazy person. Then that means that they're afraid of powerful women. You see how women do that? They play the victim and they play the hero. You can't be both. So because you're a woman, you're supposed to run around acting like a complete and total psycho, and everybody's supposed to just jump and do whatever you say do. I'm sorry, MTG, but that's the way liberal women act. Now, I know you run around and you act like a bad ass and all that stuff. Okay, well, fine. I get it. But, let's say I'm a normal guy. And if I were a member of Congress, I wouldn't be hanging out with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'd be like, that girl gets on my nerves. Damn, she needs to calm down. Doesn't mean I'm afraid of a powerful woman. It means I'm annoyed by crazy women. That's what it is. Okay. Who all did they mention there? These women on The View that they like having on, proving that they will have conservatives on. The only conservative they mentioned was Ted Cruz. Okay, I'll give them that. Joy Reid loves Chris Christie. Not a conservative, actually a turncoat Republican who will say anything and do anything that he thinks is going to get him ahead, either in show business or in politics. He's not a genuine person. Let's see, who else did she mention? Thomas Massey. Thomas Massey is, I think he's from Kentucky, and he's a libertarian, and 9 times out of 10, he's going against Trump and the conservatives in the party. So they like him. That makes sense. But here's the thing. I know for a fact that there is a prominent conservative that has been trying to be a guest on The View for years and never been invited. Never even, I don't even think they've responded to his requests to be on The View. And that guy is Ben Shapiro. Would they dare have Ben Shapiro on The View? No, I doubt it. Let me throw a couple. Let me give you these names, ladies, and Whoopi. I will tell you, let me give you a few that you could just put on a wheel and spin the wheel, and whichever one it landed on, it would be just fine. Any of them would be great. Put the name Ben Shapiro on there. Put the name Mark Levin on there. Put, let's see. Matt. What is Matt's last name? Isaac from the Daily Wire. Matt
Walsh.
Matt Walsh. Thank you. He's one of my favorite commentators, and when I go to tell somebody his name, I forget his last name. Damn, that's what getting old is like. Don't put me on the list. I said Mark Levin, Matt Walsh. Let's say, well, those three could be good. Just those. No, Stephen Miller. Put Stephen Miller on the list. And then put him on the wheel and spin it. And if it lands on any of those, then you will prove, ladies, that you really are welcome and welcoming to people's opinions who are not like yours. I dare you. So we got Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin, Matt Walsh, Stephen Miller. Please, every one of those guys would just lay waste to the ideas and the opinions of these View wenches, or as it's pronounced in my hometown of Winfield, Louisiana, wench. All those wenches. Conservatives are scared to come on the show. You know why? If they're avoiding coming on your show, it's because sane men do everything they can do to stay away from crazy women. We spend our lives trying to avoid crazy women. So it would make sense if they said they didn't want to come be on The View. That would be incredible. Absolutely incredible. But no, they're not going to have a true conservative that will come on there and get fiery with them. Now, I have seen Ted Cruz on the clips of him on The View. I've never watched The View for sure. And he does okay. And he is a true conservative, old school conservative. And I think a lot of Ted Cruz. But can you imagine putting Stephen Miller, the deputy chief of staff for Trump, on the stage with those crazy women? Oh, my God. Or Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh would destroy them and never change expressions. It would be so sweet. So sweet. Okay. There's something else that that I have tonight to discuss with you about some celebrities who have been put on this list, saying that they have done complete destruction to their reputations in the past year. And I'll give you the list and then tell you why they're supposedly destroyed. And you can see the difference in what liberals are allowed to get away with and what conservatives are allowed to get away with. A complete double standard, as if you didn't know that already. But we'll get into that next. Hang on.
The TJ Ritchie Show.
Hear the TJ Ritchie Show every weeknight at 7 Eastern. Stream it live at tjritchie.com or listen later as a podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or My Media Center at tjritchie.com. You'll be so glad you did, hopefully. That's tjritchie.com.
He's America's coolest conservative. Welcome to the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
I really hope I'm not going to be bored at that news and brews thing. I get bored easily. And since I am not anywhere close to being the main focus of that thing, it might end up being news and snooze for me. I gotta stay stimulated, you know. But you know what I'll be doing? I'll be sitting there listening to everybody else go on and on and on, and I'll be thinking that they ought to be letting me talk more. That's what I'll say. No, I'm kidding. I said I would be there. We worked out the deal. We negotiated. We got it done. And I will. I will be at the News and Brews, and I will be. But I think I'll probably just be serving the brews to the morning show. I think I'm there to be their personal server for the night. So I agreed to be there for whatever. I'm a team player. And I'll let whoever is there in the audience be the ones to say that I need to be talking more at that presentation. Because I know that's what's going to happen. But then again, I don't want to be trying to steal the show either. Yes, I do. I don't really. I won't, try to steal the show, but I will. And, there's a little bit of a difference in somebody trying to steal a show and actually stealing the show without trying. That's what I'll be doing. Looking forward to it. Make sure you get your tickets. Get your tickets here. Okay, so I have a little Hollywood news. There's a list. It says 5 celebrities who soured their reputations beyond repair in 2025. Okay. Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez, that's his wife. He said their takeover of Venice, Italy for their wedding wasn't received well by the locals and came off to the rest of the world as grotesque and excessive. It says, I thought maybe it would say because Lauren Sanchez wore an outfit with her boobs out at the presidential inauguration. You remember that's who that was in the white outfit. Guys, you know what I'm talking about. Katy Perry, singer Katy Perry. She somehow found herself the main target of criticism over the most recent Blue Origin flight, especially with the way she used it to shout out her daughter and announce the set list for her upcoming tour. Yeah. And maybe because all of those women on that on that blast off into space and right back down to Earth, refer to themselves as astronauts and said that, they're in the same boat with astronauts now because they had to learn a lot to get to go up into space. Blake Lively, no matter who comes out on top of the legal battle between Blake and Justin Baldoni, over the movie It Ends With Us, the stink is all over Blake. Okay. So she's in this, battle with a fellow actor and director. Blake Lively is an actress who is married to Ryan Reynolds. And so they were going back and forth in court, and she has shown herself to the public as just being a rotten, just a mean person. Let's see, Leonardo DiCaprio. Commentary that Leo only will be dating women until they turn 25. He said, according to this source, he says he will date women until they turn 25 and then break up with them and get a younger one. Carrie Underwood. Now, you think about all of the hate and all of the idiocy that we hear celebrities spew every day. All of the promotion of destroying the family unit, all of the things that they stand behind and stand up for, like transing the children and, the whole thing. Think about all of that stuff that they do, and they get celebrated in Hollywood. Carrie Underwood is on this list saying that she has done damage to her reputation that will be irreparable. Here's what she did. It says, sure, she's a country singer, but she was always considered one of the ones we could all agree on. That ended in January when she performed at President Trump's inauguration. So that's all she had to do. She sang at President Trump's inauguration. Now, this crap about someone we could all agree on, and said that the move potentially cost her half of her fan base. Why do they never say that when you have a celebrity come out and say something that's just idiotic and it's a leftist opinion? Why do they never say that? It's because the people who the person that put Carrie Underwood on this list is a flaming leftist himself or herself, and that is the most unforgivable thing that a fellow celebrity could do. It would be to perform at President Trump's inauguration. Now, I mean, since this, Carrie Underwood, if you don't keep up with her, she's pretty, I don't know if I'd call it outspoken, but she's not hiding the fact that she's a Republican, which is just fine. More people should be that way. But you see what happens, especially in that deranged world of Hollywood and with the show folk, those trashy celebrities. And Carrie Underwood got a lot of grief on American Idol. She's a judge on American Idol because she won the thing when she was young. That's how we know who she is. And they had gospel night, and she got up and belted out and had a super, super Jesus-y song. And they were criticizing her for that. So it's typical. Just typical. There is a situation in Charlotte. Changing gears here for a second. Paulette Gibson, who was arrested for stabbing two people and leaving them for dead, was just released from jail on a $20,000 bond. She has 15 prior arrests, including violent offenses, and now she is back out on the street. That sounds all too familiar for the big dangerous city of Charlotte, doesn't it? I mean, what is wrong with these judges who cannot pronounce the word remanded, held without bail? They can't say those things. The only thing I can figure is that these judges are part of the Marxist world, where the criminal's treatment is always better than the victim and the victim's family. I mean, that's the only thing it could be, really, unless, I don't know, what are you going to say, that we just didn't have room to keep her in the jail till time for her trial? I don't think so. I don't think we can say that, can we? It says the stabbing in West Charlotte left two people hurt Sunday. The stabbing happened at Nobles Avenue near West Boulevard. Two people suffered life-threatening injuries in the stabbing, according to medic. Two people were arrested in connection with the stabbing on Monday. Both face charges for assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill, felony conspiracy, assault with a deadly weapon with a minor present. Oh, yeah, that's right. There was they were encouraging a 10-year-old family member to be present during the fight that authorities say led to the stabbing. Okay. So, yeah, just winners all the way around. Why in the world What reason would a judge have, or a magistrate, as it were, maybe, I don't know. What reason could they possibly give for setting any amount of bail for this woman? 15 prior arrests. And the charges that she's facing now, intent to kill with a deadly weapon. I mean, why did she deserve to be out on the streets before her trial on a $20,000 bond? You see, the whole thing with the young woman getting stabbed on the train in Charlotte by a man who should not have been out on the streets, stabbed in cold blood, no reason other than as he was getting off the train, he supposedly said, "I got that white girl." And that has been a controversy ever since then, for months now, all over U.S. America. But it doesn't matter. Obviously, you would think that because of that story, which brought, the President Trump saying, "Hey, we're going to bring the National Guard in there and clean up Charlotte," you would think that the people in charge of setting bail or not would say, "All right, I'm not going to make the same mistake that magistrate made. They're not going to be coming at me like that." No. Let's set bail at $20,000. That's sick. You can commit 15 crimes or be arrested 15 times on various charges and then get arrested and charged with all of the stuff that this violence that she's been charged with, and you still can just get out? I wonder what it is. I wonder if I could do that with no prior arrests. I wonder if I could do the same thing, stab 2 people, allegedly she did. But if I stabbed 2 people, or if I was charged with assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill, felony conspiracy, assault with a deadly weapon with a minor present, and contributing to the delinquency of a juvenile, I wonder if I did that and no prior offenses, if I would have been let out of jail on $20,000 bond, or would it have been, no. He's remanded, no bail. Rot until it's time for your trial in a couple of years. I think we know which one it would be. Don't we? Yes, we do. All right, hang on. We got more coming up next.
It's TJ Ritchie.
Pet hair can cause havoc on your washer and your dryer. You know, you've done a load of laundry, you've washed it, you take it out of the dryer, and then you realize it's still covered in hair. That's because pet hair can get clogged up in your washing machine. Luckily, there is an awesome product called the Pet Hair Dissolver. It's an enzymatic formula that you just dump in your washing machine, and it actually eliminates the pet hair, resulting in cleaner, fresher clothes. Here's how to get it. Go to tjritchie.com/deals. That's where you'll find the Pet Hair Dissolver. Again, it's tjritchie.com/deals. It's the best price you'll find on it anywhere.
So there's a reason that the Dewdrops are the #1 seller in the Love Into skincare line. They're my absolute favorite if I'm dry, dull, just need a little pick-me-up during the day, which a lot of times I do. The other day I was in the car line picking up Delilah from kindergarten, and I just was feeling dry and dull. I put some on, and when I got to the space to pick her up, the teacher that opened the door said, "Lindsay, your skin looks amazing." I said, "Oh my God, thank you." It's the Love Into Dewdrops. Go to tjritchie.com/deals, code TJ for 21% off.
Radio, podcasts, and cool social media content. Get all the TJ you can handle at WBT.com/TJ. Now, back to the TJ Ritchie Show. on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Ramming, jamming, slamming from the big dangerous city of Charlotte, North Carolina. If you want to text into the show, I'm about to check that right now. It is 704-570-1110. You can also call at that number. Can do either. It's up to you. Whatever you want to do. All right. I got a story here about a lunatic who's not only just a crazy leftist, but he's also dumb. I mean, he really is. And I'm not just saying that because he's a leftist, because some leftists aren't dumb. They are, they're conniving and they're, I always break it down. If you are a leftist in 2025, you're either naive, and gullible, brainwashed, in that category, or you are corrupt, shady, and a full-throated liar. I think this guy falls into the dumb category, the ignorant. His name's Doc Rivers, and he's the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. That's an NBA team. Now, he's always making a fool of himself. I mean, always making a fool of himself. Well, he's been speaking out against immigration and customs enforcement. Some people call that ICE. The stuff that's going on in Chicago. And he's a Chicago native. This is according to Breitbart. He called the federal law enforcement actions, quote unquote, just awful. He said, quote, "It bothers me. I'm trying. I mean, I'm just off. It's just awful what you watch and see. People getting zip tied. I mean, that's not this country. That's not what we're about," end quote. Why are they getting zip tied? Doc, may I call you Doc? Doc, why are they getting zip tied? What would you think, Coach Doc, would cause them to be getting zip tied by federal agents who work for immigration and customs enforcement? They're just dragging these poor people out of their homes. These poor American citizens, right? That wasn't his only pro-illegal comment. He also saluted get this is hilarious, the quote-unquote amazing job Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is doing. Despite that, Johnson has the lowest approval rating of any mayor in the nation. And every night on the show, this may be the first night in 2 weeks that I don't have a clip of somebody from Chicago saying, "Thank you, Trump, and Brandon Johnson is terrible." Somebody from Chicago. Here's what Coach Doc Rivers said. Coach Doc Einstein Rivers. Quote, "I think the mayor's done an amazing job with everything he says. I think this is starting to separate us all, which I hate. This is not, you can be pro-civil rights or what's right and not be like anti-white. And I think that's what it's starting to become in some ways, and it shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be. I would hope that if this was Ukrainian immigrants being detained, that everyone on both races would fight for it. That's wrong. It's just wrong." Now, some people may think that was a nonsensical statement, and those people would be right. What the hell are you trying to say, you moron, you? And I cannot help but believe that if these were illegal aliens from Canada and they were all white, Doc Rivers would not be having the same problem with. No. But you see, he is on the wrong side of the black people from Chicago, because black people from Chicago are not on the side of Brandon Johnson. They're not on the side of Coach Doc Rivers. No. You know whose side they're on? Trump's. Who's in charge of ICE? Trump. Who's in charge of the National Guard for these missions? Trump. That's who the people living in Chicago day to day in these neighborhoods that are so dangerous, that's what they're saying. Thank you, Trump. Not thank you, Brandon Johnson. Not thank you, Doc Rivers, who I think that I don't know. Just let me. I believe, in my opinion of things, I believe that Doc Rivers is a racist. He's an anti-white racist, I believe. My humble opinion. And he would not have a problem, I don't think, if white Canadians or white Ukrainians were being rounded up on the street, if they were illegal aliens, and zip tied. And the only reason I think that it is possible that he is having a problem with this is because, one, maybe Brandon Johnson's office and the Democrats said, hey, we need some good publicity on this. We need some help with this. Or two, maybe he, being a famous basketball player and a basketball coach, doesn't have to worry about it in his neighborhood negatively affecting him. So, oh my God, so he's just like a regular old white liberal, like these white liberal women that, you know, live up on their perch, looking down at everybody else, and these poor people. But if they had to live in a neighborhood where illegal aliens were taking over and taking the jobs of the people who already have a hard time getting a job, they may not feel the same way. The bottom line is these people broke the law. If President Trump did not send federal agents to detain these illegal aliens, then he would be not doing his job. His job is to protect the country. His job is to restore law and order on a federal level when it needs to be restored. See, that's the problem. People have gotten so used to things sliding when it comes to the law and the laws not being enforced that when Trump has to come in and do what's supposed to be done, it's just such, oh my God, these are not criminals? They didn't break any laws? Well, the majority of them that have been detained have been violent criminals or worse than just plain violence. And while they're rounding up the ones that they're looking for that are the most, the biggest criminals, they run across somebody who doesn't have a criminal record but is an illegal alien. They have to take them. That's the way it works. They can't just turn their backs and say, oh, he broke the law, but we can't do anything about it because we're only looking for this group of people. Doesn't work that way. All right, hang on. TJ on the News is coming up next.
More of the TJ Ritchie Show is coming up.
Hear the TJ Ritchie Show every weeknight at 7 Eastern. Stream it live at tjritchie.com or listen later as a podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or my media center at tjritchie.com. You'll be so glad you did, hopefully. That's tjritchie.com.
Live from the big city of Charlotte, North Carolina, it's TJ on the News.
News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT. The most important stories from around the globe. This is it. Now, there isn't going to be any theme music for each story anymore because I can't play the music on a podcast, and I've got to start posting all this stuff on YouTube and everything, and I'll get flagged if I do that. So, having to work around it. So, young Isaac is here. Lonnie Ray is here. So, here we go. Getting started with our lead story. The term adultween is back in the news. The people at Ferrero Candies got that word trending last year, and it's one of the stupidest words in English language history. Have y'all heard of adultween? Adultoween?
I've heard of adulting, but not adultween.
Yeah, no. And adulting is stupid too. You know what it is, Lonnie?
Oh, no, I don't know.
Okay, well, it is adults being the ones celebrating Halloween instead of kids. So this new poll found that over half of adults think grown-ups should get their own night to celebrate Halloween without involving the kids. Okay, well, so it's an adult Halloween party. That's not so bad. But here are some other things in this study. Most of us agree, not most of us. That's what the article says, but I'm not putting myself into any of this. Most people agree Halloween isn't just for kids. Do y'all agree with that or not?
Yeah, I agree.
Nah,
okay.
That's just for kids.
Halloween's just for kids.
Just
okay.
For kids.
All right. So we used to do this thing. I don't know whether they do it anymore, but Ace and I created this thing years ago when we worked on the Top 40 station called Gravedigger's Ball, where it was a big concert and, it was a costume contest and all that. And that was pretty cool. So I have to say that in that case, it's not just for kids. Most parents, this is what I don't understand. Most parents will steal from their kids' candy stash. There's no stealing. That's your kid, and whatever they have, if you want it, it's yours. Unless it's, money from their grandparents or something, then that's stealing. Right?
It's all fair.
Yeah. I mean, you got to go through it anyway and make sure that they're not getting any, by trying to poison them or anything.
And
it doesn't hurt for you to grab a piece here or there.
Yeah, and I'm taking all the Whoppers.
You love the Whoppers, huh?
You already know.
Yeah. I love a big set of Whoppers myself. But then they said that the candy that adults steal the most is full-size candy bars. How often is that happening where you get full-size candy bars?
Not often. And I haven't seen none in my kids' candy bucket, so.
Yeah. I never saw that much either. That's in the rich neighborhoods. It has to be.
Yeah.
But, man, if my kid came in with a full-size Snickers or some Reese's Cups, yeah, I'm taking that. I'm going to say, it's got razor blades in it, baby. You don't need that. I'll eat the razor blades. All right, next story. A Coral Springs man is facing domestic violence charges after he allegedly hit his father during an argument that began when the father asked a prostitute his son had brought home to leave. So the son brings home a sex worker. And the dad says, get that hooker out of here. So the son does the only thing that he could do, and that is beat up the dad. Oh. Right? What choice did he have? Officers responded to the family home where the victim told police that his son, John A. Ribeiro, 32, had spent all day drinking alcohol with a woman he described as a prostitute. When the father asked the woman to leave, she complied, according to the arrest report. After she left, the son became enraged, shouting verbal threats and telling his father that he was going to beat his A. quote, I'm going to beat your... And, you know, if I had a nickel for every time my dad and I got in a fight over the same exact thing that they're fighting over, I mean, it's just, I mean, father and son relationships, you know. 1 second, you know, he's coaching your little league team and, you know, you're getting to go to Dairy Queen because you won. And then the next minute, you're beating the crap out of your dad because he told your hooker to leave. It's just part of life. You know that. Have y'all ever gotten into a fight with your dad?
Nah, not me.
No.
No, I'm scared to death of that. That'd be terrible.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure my dad would win.
Yeah, I think my dad would definitely. I mean, even right now, he'll take me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They got to turn it on if they fight their son.
Oh yeah.
It's do or die right there.
Man, I would beat my daddy's. I mean, I might if I got on him, I probably wouldn't even stop. Somebody would have to pull me off of him. And you know, I don't care about his military training and all that stuff. As a matter of fact, I wish he would pop off to me. I wish he would.
TJ's just waiting on it. Waiting on the opportunity.
Same way I told y'all I'd beat my mama's, you know, if she got too mouthy. If my mama got too mouthy with me, I'd pop her upside her head. I take them both at the same time. I don't play that. Then there is an Ohio lawmaker who is trying to ban marriage. He wants to ban marriage between humans and AI chatbots. Saying that, and this is how crazy this guy is, he's saying that marriage should only be between two humans.
Oh, really?
Oh, he's old-fashioned. Yeah, not only should you not be allowed to, because, I mean, it's serious. You get legally recognized as being married to a computer program or something, and then you go into a coma and you're on life support, and who's going to be the one responsible for any legalities or anything with you? A machine can't do that. Not to mention, if you think you're marrying an inanimate object or a computer program, then not only should you not be allowed to marry them legally, you should be put in an institution because you're crazy.
Yeah, totally understandable. My girlfriend gets a little jealous of me and ChatGPT's conversations because she has a little female voice and everything. So yeah, you know, that's how I be.
Is that what you're doing during the show when you're back there and you say you're pulling these audio clips and stuff? You're talking to your ChatGPT girlfriend?
Yes, because she has to, you know, get all that audio, and she helps me out. So
okay, yeah, she's your helper. All right.
He's back there writing love letters.
Well, just know you if you're in Ohio, you probably won't be able to marry her.
Oh man.
Now, in North Carolina where we live, who knows? You may be able to do that forever.
It's the Bible Belt.
Yeah. All right, that's it for TJ on the news. If you want some of the most delicious pork products you have ever had, then you need to make an order at Big Fork Brands. That's right. Big Fork is at tjritchie.com/deals, and when you use the code TJ, you'll save 20%. It's Big Fork.
Identifying liberalism and mocking it relentlessly. This is the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
All right, rocking, rolling, doing what we do. The Green-Eyed Patriot is on the air everywhere. Man, there are a lot of texts coming in here tonight. Thank you. Blowing me away, all these people writing in. And since I blocked those idiots, it's much more, it's a lot easier to just scan through them and not have to deal with those, the ones just calling me names and things who have an IQ of maybe 3 or something. Okay. Let's see. There was something that I had here that I was going to. I want to make sure that I hit on tonight. So we did the we did the thing with Doc Rivers. We did that already. That's cool. That's cool. Somebody wrote in a few minutes ago when we were talking about the criminal being let out on $20,000 bond. That you got to remember, and I had forgotten about this to mention that if you got a $20,000 bond, then you're only paying $2,000 to get out. Because it's a 10% to pay that. Now, Charlotte, just like any of the rest of these big cities who are, it's crime ridden and all, because Democrats have been in charge for far too long. One day of Democrats being in charge is too long. But you see, it's not that areas of Charlotte have gotten way more dangerous and all. It's not that. It's the perception that people have. The statistics, well, they show that the crime rate is down in Charlotte. It's the perception. And when someone knows a person who is a victim of a crime, then they think that crime is worse overall than it used to be. It's the perception. Social media adds a lot to that, is what's being said. And it's the fact that Democrats will hang on to a lie as long as they can. I mean, they will hold on so tightly to a lie and to something that's fake, and they'll squeeze it, and they'll just such a tight grip on it. And while they're gripping it in one hand, they're pointing with the other hand. Oh, look over there. Don't look at this. Don't look at this lie I've got in my hand here. Look over there. That's the truth over there. It's just perception. Okay. But I remember when Uptown Charlotte, and if you don't live in Charlotte, if you're listening on a podcast and you live in another area, another state or something, it's called Uptown Charlotte instead of Downtown Charlotte, because the story I always heard about that is that when you would go to the downtown area, you wanted to, going up rather than down was more positive feeling. Yeah, we're going uptown, not downtown, uptown. So that's why we call it Uptown Charlotte. I could be completely wrong on that. That could be some just nonsense that somebody fed me one day. But I remember when I moved to Charlotte 26 years ago, we had a Republican mayor, and you could go, because I moved to Charlotte from Birmingham, and Birmingham was not safe to go to at night in downtown. Not even 26 years ago. But Charlotte was. And I remember thinking, wow, this city is a lot bigger than Birmingham, but it's cleaner and nicer. And this just, it feels like a small town because of being able to just walk wherever you need to go and all of that. But you wouldn't catch me walking around uptown at night now. No way. Because of the perception. I have a bad perception of things because of what I've seen on social media. Okay. Now, obviously there are some areas of Charlotte that aren't as bad crime-wise. But I don't know. I had a bad feeling about the train, the light rail coming into uptown Charlotte when that was being built. Now, I've ridden on, I mean, when it was new, I rode on it a couple of times. I didn't want to. I've never, I've seen too many movies growing up in small town Louisiana of how bad public transportation is. I don't want to be part of it. My manager is from New York. And the first time I went to New York with him and he wanted to get on the subway, I was like, are you sure? And it was just as trashy as I thought it was going to be. Of course, New York's trashy anyway, but it's really trashy now. I don't know. It's sad. It's sad because this was a great city, and it was like you couldn't look at any of these surveys or any of these things like that where they were doing like the best state to raise a family, the best city for business, the best this, that, and the other. Charlotte was always at the top of those lists, way up at the top. And then all of a sudden, you know what I think it is? I think there are too many people who have come into the city from other liberal strongholds, and they've gotten elected to offices. And a Democrat will mess up any good thing if you put them in charge of it. If the Lord decided one day to put a Democrat or several Democrats in charge of a section of heaven that is supposed to be perfection always, but if he said, listen, Democrats A, B, and C, y'all are now in charge of this section of heaven. Do your best. Do what you feel needs to be done to keep it heavenly. And it wouldn't be 2 weeks, and that part of heaven would be ruined. Democrats are destructive people when they are put in charge of something. They just are. I'm sorry. If you're a Democrat voter, then every time you vote for someone in your party, you are voting to ruin whatever they're trying to become in charge of. Now I feel like Charlie Kirk. Prove me wrong. Show me where there is unchecked Democrat control over something, that it's nice and that the people there thrive. I can't think of a single place. Democrats can never, ever be trusted to be in charge of anything. If you want that thing to thrive, they just don't have what it takes. They're just destructive with their policies. Sometimes purposely, sometimes not. Sometimes just stupidly or ignorant to situations. But I don't think you're going to find a situation where the people living in a completely Democrat-controlled area where the people are happy and thriving. And, some people may call that a hot take. I don't care. Some people may call that painting with a broad brush. Guess what? I don't care. I don't care what you think. Because it's true. And I'm a truth sayer. I am America's #1 societal profiler. I am the green-eyed patriot, and I am a truth sayer. And Democrats cannot be trusted to run anything. If you got something to say about it, call or text me, 704-570-1110. Do it. I'm here. Hang on, we got more coming up.
It's TJ Ritchie.
Hear the TJ Ritchie Show every weeknight at 7 Eastern. Stream it live at tjritchie.com or listen later as a podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or my media center at tjritchie.com. You'll be so glad you did, hopefully. That's tjritchie.com.
Late, live, and local. It's the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Whoa, look at this. This show is flying by again. I know I say that every night, but it really seems like it. My other show that I do every day is 4 hours. And maybe that's why. Maybe because I'm so used to doing a 4-hour morning show every day that just these 2 hours that I do at night seem like they're going by quickly. So, there is a clip that I want to play for you. I don't just want to play it for you. I'm going to play it for you. And this is that CNN panel show with that Abby Phillip. You know, Abby Phillip that talks like this. I'm not going to let that stand. It's already been proven that that's false. So that argument is not going to be allowed to stand. I'm also trying to speak as monotonely as I possibly can without even moving my lips. Even though I know I am absolutely gorgeous, I'm not going to raise my voice. I'm not even going to move my lips when I speak. I'm Abby Phillip. I'm Abby Phillip, damn it. Okay, so it's on that show. And there's a fellow on there named Keith Boykin. And he and Ben Ferguson kind of got into it. Now, Ben Ferguson has been a political commentator for a long time. He's a podcaster, radio guy. He fills in for the great one, Mark Levin, pretty often when Mark's out. So the guy is talking about how the history of racism is thriving on the Republican side. Now, Keith Boykin is an African American gentleman, and Ben Ferguson was having none of it. Listen.
I'm glad to see a number of Republicans step up and condemn them as well because they're terrible. But I do think to say that this somehow justifies that Jay Jones did nothing wrong and should still be the nominee.
Stop. Jay Jones is the guy in Virginia that's running for attorney general that said he wanted his political opponent to be assassinated and wants his kids to die in their mother's arms. We talked about that. Okay, that's who they're talking about. But this is not the part I really wanted you to pay attention to. Go ahead.
Did exactly the same thing that J.D. Vance did, except for the fact that you denounced the words, but you immediately pivoted.
I wouldn't have brought him up if you weren't talking about it.
But you immediately pivoted to a Democrat instead of focusing on the fact that this is a pattern. The saddest thing about this story is that it was not the least bit surprising to me. I mean, I don't think anyone who I know who's familiar with where the Republican Party has been going the past decade or so is the least
Hitler or fascist.
Well, J.D. Vance literally called Donald Trump Hitler. What are you talking about? J.D. J.D. Vance said that himself. J.D. Vance called Donald Trump Hitler.
Kristen, and also Ben, as we've played multiple times here, Trump has repeatedly called his Democratic opponents fascists. So that argument does not hold.
And there's a whole history of racism in the Republican Party. It started in
You guys had slavery. We were against it.
Okay, let me
The
finish.
Democratic Party literally was the party of slavery. So let's not act like there's not a history. If you want to talk history, slavery is the Democratic Party.
Why don't we just listen to you then? Tell us about black history.
On that one, every American should be able to tell you about it. You don't have to be black to say that the Democratic Party was in favor of slavery, the party of slavery.
Ben, you don't know what you're talking about. Let me just say
I do. It wasn't the Republican Party. History is there.
Okay, that's enough. So this is a trick that they try to use all the time to shut white people up, especially when white people are telling the truth and exposing their race hustling. When a white person is exposing the lies of the Democrat Party and the lies of the people on the left, and when a white conservative starts exposing Democrats for being the party of slavery, the party of Jim Crow, the party of segregation, and so forth and so on, we've been through all of that. But that's what Ben Ferguson was saying, and this clown goes, "Okay, Ben, why don't you tell us about Black history, Whitey?" Is basically what he's saying. Hey, you're white. You can't. Why are you even trying to say anything about Black history? Huh? Because history is history. And this guy knows that. This guy knows that he's a slimy, POC, stands for piece of crap. He knows he is. He knows Ben Ferguson is absolutely right. But how does he try to shut him up? By basically calling him a racist. Okay, why don't you, Ben, tell us about Black history? If you're so qualified to talk about Black history, Mr. White Man. Everybody knows that a white man can't tell anybody anything about Black history. Huh. You're discredited. So everything you just said about slavery, Jim Crow, segregation, all of that being Democrat issues, being part of the Democrat history and not the Republicans, that doesn't even count because you're white and you're basically trying to talk about Black history. Slavery is Black history. And when you say the Democrat Party is the party of slavery and was the party of slavery, then you're out of bounds. Because you're white and you can't talk about Black history, and that's Black history. Now, not long ago, that would have worked. Not long ago, that, little slimy debate tactic would have shut somebody up. Wouldn't shut me up. I don't play that. But it would have shut a Republican commentator up right there. Boom. Uh-oh, he's insinuating that I'm a racist. Can't have that. Can't have that. And it's not that way anymore. And a lot of that has to do with the leadership and the courage of Donald Trump. Being a leader is really something special. A leader steps out and does what needs to be done and shows the others how to do it and shows that you can get past whatever lies are going to be thrown at you. You think about everything they have thrown at Donald Trump from the day, that famous trip down the escalator when he came to announce his presidency campaign, his campaign for presidency. What he said when he got to the bottom of the escalator and got to the podium. Since that day, Donald Trump went from being a darling of show business, a darling of the media. People loved Donald Trump in that world. Oprah loved Donald Trump. Those celebrities loved him. Rappers talked about how they wanted to be him. They wanted to be on his level. They talked about it in their songs. But the minute he announced himself as a Republican candidate for president, he all of a sudden became a racist and a criminal and all these other things, because that's how the Democrat Party works. They cannot work on merit. They cannot work on ideas. They can't get anything accomplished by being honest, because the things that they want to get accomplished, their goals, are corrupt and they're not good for the people. And this slimy, thinking he's slick clown. Okay, Ben, why don't you tell us about Black history? big corn-fed white boy. Corn-fed Fred. Mr. Seattle. I think that's where Ben is from. Okay. Frasier, basically, you're Frasier telling us about Black history. But I wonder if anybody called the guy a clown to his face. Like when the cameras turned off and they went to the break. If I was Ben Ferguson, I'd go, "You clown, get out of my face, you slimy," probably cuss him a little bit. Was it Dr. Eric Dyson? Was it Dr. Dyson that was on one of these shows one time, and he was talking with on a panel, and I believe it might have been Nancy Mace that was on the panel with him. I could be mistaken. Dr. Dyson, who was talking about racism, fascism, whiteism. All of the crap that he sounds like he's making up words all the time. If you don't know Dr. Dyson, look him up. He's quite hilarious. But I think it was after the show, Nancy Mace came out and went to the press and said that Michael Eric Dyson or Eric Michael Dyson, whatever his name is, was hitting on her. Sent her a text. She read the text. The text said, "Hello, beautiful. We look good up there, don't we?" They had taken a picture after the thing or before they went on the air. And I think he was commenting on the picture to her and saying, "Hello, beautiful. We look good up there together, don't we?" I think that's how the story went. But he had just called her a racist, basically, on the set. So maybe it's all fake. I don't know. That's my point. All right, we got one segment to go, and it's going to be a good one. It'll be a good one coming up next.
The TJ Ritchie Show.
Pet hair can cause havoc on your washer and your dryer. You've done a load of laundry, you've washed it, you take it out of the dryer, and then you realize it's still covered in hair. That's because pet hair can get clogged up in your washing machine. Luckily, there is an awesome product called the Pet Hair Dissolver. It's an enzymatic formula that you just dump in your washing machine, and it actually eliminates the pet hair, resulting in cleaner, fresher clothes. Here's how to get it. Go to tjritchie.com/deals. That's where you'll find the Pet Hair Dissolver. Again, it's tjritchie.com/deals. It's the best price you'll find on it anywhere.
He's radio royalty in the Carolinas and Queen Charlotte's sweetest prince. It's TJ Ritchie on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Bringing it. That's what we do. Constantly. We bring it. Oh, man. 704-570-1110 is the number. And a lot of people are texting that number on the WBT text line tonight. I mean, I can barely get through the ones that are popping in before it's time to come back on the air and start my spiels to you. Okay. We were talking about this earlier. I don't have a problem with adults enjoying Halloween, especially if they enjoy Halloween because of their kids. That's cool. You like your kids' costume. You like taking them trick-or-treating. You like having little things for them, and Halloween, it doesn't have to just be the one night, It's the spooky season, y'all. It's so spooky. Woo-hoo. But it's when adults go overboard with a Halloween obsession that gets to me. You know what they're doing now? Now, I don't know that other hosts on WBT would know this kind of thing. I know it because I have to keep up with all aspects of popular culture. Not only for the syndicated morning show that I do every day called the TJ and Riggins Show. You can go hear that on podcast tjritchie.com. You can find it there. Like and subscribe to all the stuff. I'd appreciate it. But it's not just because of that. I would want to keep up with this kind of stuff to be able to pass along to you as well. But I think the other hosts on WBT are far more sophisticated and they have stronger issues to be focusing on. I'm just the guy they stuck on at night to fill some time. They don't even pay me. Somebody text earlier and said that they're enjoying listening to me on the radio again. Must have been a listener from the Ace and TJ days. And I said, I'm really enjoying it. And they said, I hope I get to stay because they don't even pay me to be here. So I'll stay as long as I can afford it. And I know that the other hosts are, they're more serious and all than I am. I didn't say they're better. I said they're more serious because I'm the best. There's no doubt about that. I mean, okay. But when adults are obsessed with Halloween, I just want to tell them to grow up, when, they have to wearing a costume is fine as an adult. But acting out your costume the entire time the party is going on is annoying. I'm glad to see that it's kind of the trend of men making their costume every year be a woman, like, where they dress up in women's clothes about something and that's their costume. I'm glad that's kind of gone a little bit by the wayside. But I have seen some elaborate costumes in my day. Like I said, Ace and I started that Gravedigger's Ball in Uptown Charlotte years ago. And there was $1,000 prize in the costume contest. And these people would go all out. And it was impressive. It was. A lot of them were very, very impressive. But there's a thing now where women are going to Starbucks and they're taking those small pumpkins, hollowing them out, and having the barista make their fancy coffee drink in the pumpkin so they can take pictures and put it on social media and all. And the baristas are complaining about it. But I think it's funny. Starbucks says, bring your own cup. You'll get a discount because we're trying to cut back on waste and save Mother Earth or whatever else it is. So they say you can bring your own vessel, drink. So why can't it be a pumpkin? I just love when two liberal things collide. When they butt heads. I love it. So you got these liberal women, make my Starbucks drink, make my mocha half-calf, decaf, full whip, beverage in this pumpkin. That's my cup. And then the liberal baristas who don't even want to be working because they think Starbucks is oppressive because they're making them wear jeans and black T-shirts as a uniform. Oh, the humanity. They're complaining because they're having to make these drinks in a pumpkin. I think it's hilarious. Then there are these elaborate Halloween decorations. If you go to Lowe's Home Improvement or Sam's Club, you'll see these giant skeletons that are motion censored and all that. I think those things range around average of $450 or something for those giant skeletons. But it's your money. Do what you want. But when your Halloween celebration or your Halloween decorations and all affect other people in a negative way, that's when it's too far. That's when you gotta be an adult and say, okay, well, let's not do that. That's a little bit too far. Have some dignity about yourself. Like they make a Halloween decoration thing where it is, I guess it's some sort of a video that shines up onto the house. And you know how you can shine those videos up there or shine those lights onto the house that look like Christmas lights and they just cover the house like Clark Griswold and all that. Well, they make one that looks realistic. And I don't know, maybe it's sitting inside the house, but I think it's lights shining up onto the house that makes it look like the house is on fire. And it really looks like it. So what happens when people drive by? They see this house ablaze and they call the fire department. So then the fire department has to come, sirens a wailing. And they get there and it's just somebody's stupid Halloween decorations. Is that scary anyway? Does that fit with Halloween? That your house is on fire? I think it's pretty damn stupid myself. But when it's causing emergency services to have to come out for a false alarm and it's scaring, people, it's putting people into a panic who are just driving by, then yeah, you shouldn't even be, if that happens once, you shouldn't even have to be told to take it down. You should be adult enough and mature enough to say, oh my God, I didn't realize that. I didn't even think about that. Apologize to everybody involved and you take them down yourself without having to be told. Now I get it's private property and blah, blah, blah. I know all of that stuff. I'm just saying, know how to act. See, people don't know how to act anymore. It's so selfish, but I think it's cool. And that's what I want. I want to scare people. It's Halloween. Yeah. But it's just like, when you pull a prank on somebody. If the prank isn't funny to the person that you're pranking, it's not as good. The person that you prank is supposed to think it's funny when it's revealed that it's a prank. Just saying. There was a radio station one time that did an April Fool's prank. And they said, be out in this field at such and such time of the morning, and our helicopter is going to drop cash down onto that field, and you keep whatever you can gather. So you had all these people go out there, and the helicopter flew over, and the money it dropped down was, play money that had the radio station's logo on it and said April Fools. Well, you can imagine how well that went over. It wasn't good. And I think the radio station may have gotten a big fine for doing that. So that's not a funny prank. So if your Halloween decorations are causing the fire department to have to come out and you're, having people call 911 all the time, grow up, take it down. And you know what? 9 times out of 10, these adults who freak out about Halloween, I'm just going to say it because I'm a truth sayer. They're not Southern. Southern people in general don't freak out about Halloween as adults as much as Yankees do. Now, y'all can get mad if you want, but again, I'm the messenger and I bring the truth. Now, some people say it's because non-Southerners are godless most of the time. I don't know about that. But I just know that non-Southerners are way more into celebrating this demonic holiday than good Christian Southern folk. I'm just kidding. All right, Mark Levin is coming up next. God loves you. Ain't nothing you can do about it. See you tomorrow.
It's TJ Ritchie.
Have you seen these awesome glasses TJ's daughter Lainey found? They're called Aquila, and they're 10% off when you use code TJ at checkout at aquila.la and the deals page at tjritchie.com.
Hear the TJ Ritchie Show every weeknight at 7 Eastern. Stream it live at tjritchie.com or listen later as a podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or My Media Center at tjritchie.com. You'll be so glad you did, hopefully. That's tjritchie.com.